name is Alex. I'm a hobby web and game developer, and this is the first devlog for my robot Metroidvania game. For the past year and a half, I've been working on prototype game projects, trying to find project ideas within a scope I'm comfortable committing to. My goals for this devlog series is, first, to document and share my development process, bugs, spaghetti code, and all. And second, to foster a community and gather feedback from you. So, I hope you enjoy. Before we get into what my game is all about, let's talk about all my dead projects that led me to this point. Originally, I wanted to challenge myself by writing my own engine and building a complete game on top of that. Suffice to say, that didn't happen. I spent a week reading OpenGL documentation and doing tutorial projects, and decided that maybe writing my own game engine completely from scratch is out of the picture for now. After that, I moved on to Raylib, mainly so I wouldn't have to deal with all the rendering shenanigans. For my first prototype, the idea was to build a Terraria clone with an emphasis on RPG-style item dropping, leveling, and PoE-style mapping mechanics. I got a decent amount working, simple world generation, item pickup and dropping, along with a basic movement and health system, but pretty quickly I started to realize the overall architecture wasn't great. On top of that, I still had very little experience with Raylib. The scope of my project idea just kept getting bigger, and a project like this was way over my head for where I was skill-wise. Between the bad architecture, my skill issues, and scope creep, it made more sense to put this project on the back burner for now. I do still really enjoy the concept. Top-down RPGs are some of my favorite games, and combining that with a game like Terraria, I think would be a lot of fun, so I'm definitely going to revisit this in the future, but for now, it can live in the sea of my dead GitHub repos. My second attempt, it actually wasn't too bad, and I had a top-down game with pathfinding enemies, but I broke the project, and I didn't want to commit any more time to it, so I shelved it. Eventually, I had to admit defeat. Maybe my programming knowledge and the time I had to commit wasn't enough to write my own engine yet. After all the trial and error, I finally decided to stop trying to prove something to myself, squash my I can only write code in NeoVim ego mentality, and actually put some effort into finishing a project. So, let's talk about the actual game now. The original version of this game actually started over a year and a half ago. Some of the art you'll see comes from that early period, back before I even considered writing my own engine. I had a small test level that I created in Game Maker Studio with some very bare bones movement mechanics and enemies. But I ended up scrapping the project because I just did not enjoy working in Game Maker Studio. And this is what led me to Godot. I'm still struggling to get a grasp on the finer details with the engine, but that's okay. Learning is about breaking something over and over until you finally figure it out. The core game idea is a puzzle platformer Metroidvania where the player unlocks robotic and electrical abilities that allow them to progressively traverse and reinterpret the world. Currently, the game is still in a very prototype-esque state while I'm focusing on core player behavior, abilities, and pickups before venturing forward into development. I plan on having about 8 to 10 abilities that the player can use. Currently, I have 6 of them implemented. Of the 6 abilities, the first is Shock. Shock acts as the player's melee attack. It allows for short range, low damage, and costs no energy to use. The player will also have an EMP ability. The EMP is used to interact with objects in the world and also serves as a high damage, high energy alternative to the shock attack. Thirdly is the dash ability. The dash allows for faster world traversal and gives the player access to areas that were previously unreachable. Fourth is the ground pound ability. This ability is used to squash enemies, activate triggers, and break through certain floor tiles. Fifth is the magnet ability. The player can toggle the magnet on and off, allowing for some more interesting traversal by magnetizing themselves to specific areas of the map. Sixth is the explosive pickup. The explosives are scattered throughout the world and can be used in specific areas or during combat, but they're a limited resource, so the player is going to have to be careful about when and how they use them. Currently, the content is a little light. However, I'm hoping that by sharing more of what I'm working on, I can keep myself focused, curb my shiny object syndrome, and work towards my overall goal of finally finishing a game, however long it takes. Once I've refined the player mechanics and added a few more abilities, some of which I may or may not share, I'll start building small puzzle rooms with real functionality so I can really drill down into the core gameplay. I want to keep a lot of the game semi-secret to avoid spoiling too much ahead of an actual release, though that's still a long way off. I still think there's a lot of value in sharing the process itself, so I'd like to document as much of the progress as possible without giving everything away. That said, my schedule is pretty hectic right now with a very demanding, time-hungry job and the start of my computer science degree. But I'll be back around, so for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the near future. Bye.